a smartphone, a car battery, or an artificial intelligence chip. Behind products that seem ordinary today, there is a silent but extremely intense struggle between two global powers, the economic war between the United States and China. So what is this war really about? And why does it affect all of us so directly? This war isn't fought with tanks or guns, but with rules, tariffs, technology, and flows of money. Countries pressure each other by imposing extra taxes on imports, restricting the sale of critical technologies, blacklisting companies, and boosting their own firms with massive subsidies. The result? Not just two countries, but the entire global economy is affected. For many years, this model worked. China became the factory of the world, producing quickly and cheaply. The United States, meanwhile, led in design, branding, software, finance, and high technology. But over time, China didn't just manufacture, it began aiming for leadership in technology as well. That's where the tension truly escalated. This went beyond trade and turned into something bigger, a struggle for global leadership. From 2018 onward, tensions visibly escalated. The United States imposed high tariffs on many products imported from China, and China responded in kind. At the center of the debate were the trade deficit, the US buying far more from China than it sells, intellectual property and technology transfer claims, and China's state-supported industrial policies. Tariffs became a pressure tool, making Chinese goods more expensive and encouraging production to shift elsewhere. But at the same time, these measures also affected consumer prices and corporate costs. The most critical front of the economic war is technology. Because technology isn't just about money, it's about security, intelligence, defense, and strategic independence. That's why in recent years we've seen this trend. The US and some of its allies placing restrictions on certain Chinese technology companies, while China works to expand its own ecosystem with the goal of reducing dependence on foreign technology. And the real goldmine here is semiconductors, chips. From phones and cars to missiles and AI servers, everything depends on chips. But chip production is extremely complex, involving machines, software, chemicals, design, and manufacturing stages spread across different countries. Blocking just one point in this chain can disrupt the entire system. Another major battlefield is supply chains. The pandemic, logistics crises, and geopolitical tensions taught a harsh lesson. If everything is tied to a single location, the system becomes fragile in times of crisis. That's why two concepts are now widely discussed: decoupling, cutting ties completely; de-risking, reducing risk without fully cutting ties, especially in critical areas. Today, many countries and companies favor risk reduction over total separation, spreading production across multiple countries, stockpiling critical components, and finding alternative suppliers. One of the newest and hottest fronts in this conflict is the green transition economy. Batteries, electric vehicles, solar panels, wind turbines, and critical minerals. Because the growth of the next decades will be driven by these sectors. Governments are using tools like subsidies, local production requirements, and tax incentives to keep their companies competitive. This, in turn, reignites the debate over free trade. Are these incentives fair, or are they protectionism? Economic power isn't just about selling goods, it's about controlling capital. That's why, between the two countries we see, tighter scrutiny of investments, limits on company acquisitions in sensitive sectors, and efforts to control the flow of funds and technology. The United States' central role in the global financial system remains a major source of power. China, meanwhile, is trying to reduce its vulnerabilities by diversifying its trade and financial networks. Although this struggle looks like a conflict between two countries, the rest of the world is caught in between. European and Asian countries want to cooperate with the US on security and technology, but they also don't want to sever trade ties with China. For developing countries, this creates both risks and opportunities. As production shifts away from China, some countries attract new investments. But in a world divided into blocks, becoming too dependent on the wrong side is also a serious risk. So what happens next? There are three possible scenarios: controlled competition, trade continues, but restrictions on critical technologies increase. Technology blocks, standards, software, and ecosystems split into separate camps. Periodic easing. Relations never fully normalize, but tensions are managed. No matter what, one thing is clear: the US-China economic war is not just a conflict between two countries. It is a global transformation that affects everything, from the prices we pay and job opportunities to inflation and access to technology. Which front do you think matters most? Tariffs, chips, or supply chains? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one.